What's going on, guys? King AJ here. So it came to my attention, that people were asking about my settings, and I re-looked at my last settings guide, and I realized there was a lot of things that I changed. I thought it was only one thing, but there was a few things that I changed. So I figured, let me do this last update. Game or 2042 is about to come out. People eventually may come back to play 5, play it after the game comes out. Um, but, we'll re-go over it so that way if anybody, needs a basis of, and again, all these settings guides should be taken as basis, just build off of it because everybody's settings are different. So, just use this as a basis. And, if you guys have any, tips or anything for me, feel free to let me know. But let's get right into it. So my soldier sensitivity is 45. That was something that changed. I had it on 40. I did mention it, but in the last one, but again, it was something that changed. Everything is standard for my soldier buttons. The only thing that's changed is I melee with circle and I crouch, prone, and slide with R3. That just makes the movement a little bit easier. You don't have to take the extra time to reach over and hit circle, and that's either whether you play claw or not. A lot of people do it, not only in this game, but it's definitely beneficial if you can get used to it. Everything here is pretty standard for the most part. Yeah, I don't think I've ever touched anything in here, to be honest. But we'll go through everything. I'll go back over it so that way you guys can see, because I did kind of go through it quick. But yeah, basically everything in here is standard. I don't think I've ever touched anything in here. Tuning, I have vibration off. Everything else here is standard. I have my left stick input lower, so that way it picks up my movement faster. So this helps with strafing. As if you guys watch me play, you know that I strafe quite a bit. I don't really lean spam or crouch spam, anything like that. And most of my guns have light in stock, custom stock, or both. So that's something that I've gotten used to, especially with this game, is strafing a lot. So if you strafe a lot or you want to try to strafe a lot, this is something I would highly recommend. Everything else is pretty standard. I have L2 and R2s lowered pretty heavily. L2, so that way it's read faster that I'm ADSing. So it's almost like you're ADSing faster, even though ADS speed is the same as everybody else's. It's just that it's read quicker, so it's almost like you're ADSing quicker. Same thing with R2. I have it slightly toned down, so that way it reads a little bit quicker. But yeah, that's basically it for that. Let's move on to the next one. All this is pretty standard. I have the kill log as icon and name. I know I like to have it on because, some people, that are newer to the game don't always know what the gun looks like or the name is. So when it pops up in the kill feed, it makes it a little easier. I know when I watch streams and I don't know, it's always something I like to know. And the fact that they have it in this game is fantastic. This is all personal preference, but I have my crosshair colors changed as well as my hit indicators. Again, this is all personal preference. We all see things differently. So like FOV is always going to be different because everybody's eyesight is different. And some colors are going to be picked up more for some people. So orange is one that picks up a lot for me. Hence why I use it. I recommend turning this down, but this is something you have to play with. So early on in the game, I didn't know that this was a setting, but the reflex / NIDAR has a glow to it, and if you tone it down, it actually minimalizes the amount of glow, and it actually allows you to see a lot better and a lot more clearly. So that's definitely something I'd recommend playing with. Reflex and NIDAR Lattice, it looks like it's black, but it's actually like a dark gray charcoal type color, and I really like it. It sticks out well for me. Again, same thing. Hit color is all personal preference, but I have yellow hit color, a teal blue headshot color, and the red kill color. This is something I mentioned before. On-foot zoom radius is definitely something you want to play with. This is a setting that allows you to better see what's on your mini-map. So if there's a guy in a building, you can tell like if he's in a corner in the building or outside of the building, something like that. So that's something I would definitely play around with. I think I said it last time, but this is like a very overlooked and maybe underrated setting. So if you guys haven't already, definitely look at this. Minimap size is 120, and I think everything else here is standard. Yeah, so let's go to advanced. Camera shake is minimum. That's something that really throws you off. My aim sensitivity, or my aim assist is at 60%. This was something that I had at 100, and that goes back to the last setting guide. And before my comp players start roasting me, okay, this was when Zoom Snap just came out, and I hadn't played with it yet, so I left it at 100. But you know, if you guys see me play comp games and stuff like that, this is actually something that's turned off during those comp matches. So you know, just to get it away and get away from it, this is something that I have completely turned off. Vehicles I leave all the way. I don't know how Zoom Snap exactly works in vehicles. I think it only works on vehicles, but that's something different. Music volume I normally have on 40%, but for the sake of the video and you guys being able to hear me, that's something I have at 0. War tapes is my sound preset. This is something I highly recommend because this is what allows me to hear footsteps the best. And this is going back to all the games that I have played. Like War tapes is extremely good. I run it on BF1. I run it on BF4. If it's in 2042, I'm 1000% running it in that game. So something I highly recommend, and everything else here is basically standard. On video, my brightness is at 100. Now this has changed, but the only reason why this has changed is because since I got my PS5, I upgraded my monitor, and higher hertz monitors, some of them have a lower brightness. So my monitor is turned up all the way in brightness, like the monitor itself, but it was still kind of dark. So now I run max brightness, and sometimes it's still a little dark, but it's something I've gotten used to. I used to run it on 70, and with my old monitor, if I was to pop it in, it'd be way brighter. But like I said, this is something I got used to. FOV I have at 90. Again, this is something that is different for everybody, so this is just a recommendation. But this is something you definitely want to tinker with, because like I said earlier in the video, everybody's eyesight is different. So if you're having a hard time seeing people, you might want to lower it. And if you feel like you're seeing somebody well, but you want to reduce that visual recoil a little bit more, which in a sense is making the recoil a little bit easier to control, turn it up. Vehicle field of view I have all the way up. That should be standard for everybody. It just makes it a lot easier. This is another setting to tinker with. Me personally, I leave it on. When you leave it on, it gives you the lowest visual recoil, so it helps with that recoil control overall. If you're struggling with seeing people at range and you run above like a 60, I would say I wouldn't even run it off unless you're running a 74 FOV, because when you turn it off, it doesn't give enough zoom, I don't think, to warrant it. But again, that's all personal preference. Motion blur all the way off, and these last 4 items, the chromatic aberration, film grain, I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I feel like I'm going to butcher it. But then also the lens distortion I have off. It makes the game look better, but it also affects you in a negative way with visuals. So this is something I highly recommend turning off. These 4 and then motion blur. And that's for every game. So if you guys, you know, play like COD or something, I know it's in that game, that's something I'd recommend. But yeah, that's it for the settings guide. If you guys have any tips for me, or if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask or leave a comment down below. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Alright, guys.